lovely viewers. You're welcome to today's episode on the Guided Midwife channel. My name is Aisha and I am a registered midwife. So on this particular channel, we talk about everything preconception, pregnancy, labor and postpartum. And I know it's been a very long time since I posted a video. I'm very sorry for that. So on today's episode, I'm going to talk about Rhesus Factor. So please, if you find my videos very educative and interesting, then please don't forget to subscribe. You can also hit on your notification icon to get an alert anytime I post a video. So today I'm going to talk about Rhesus Factor. Rhesus Factor is very important before, during and after pregnancy. You have to know your Rhesus Factor. Most of you don't know your Rhesus Factor. So as humans as you are, you have to know whether you are Rhesus positive or Rhesus negative. So if you are Rhesus positive, that doesn't mean you have a sickness, or as in what people in quotes people say, maybe someone is HIV positive, it means you're having HIV, you're living with HIV. But Rhesus is a different thing. If you are positive or negative, doesn't mean you have a condition, but Rhesus is something different altogether. So when we say Rhesus, it's a protein that is found on the surface of your red blood cell. So if you don't have that protein on your red blood cell, it means you are Rhesus negative. But if you have the protein on your red blood cell, on the surface of your red blood cell, it means you are Rhesus positive. So you being Rhesus negative or positive is not a big deal, only if you've planned not to have children in the future. But if only you've made a decision that you want to have kids, then it's very important. So I know some of you are perplexed and you are just worried and asking yourself so many questions. So I think if you know your blood group, I can help you with your Rhesus Factor, as in you being positive or negative. So if you are blood group A positive, B positive, and O positive, it means you have a Rhesus Factor being positive. It means you are Rhesus positive, And if your blood group is B negative, A negative, O negative, it means your Rhesus is negative. It means you don't have the protein on your red blood cell. As I said earlier on, I said it's not a big deal, but it's going to be a big deal if you're going to have kids in the future. So then how can Rhesus affect pregnancy? So Rhesus can affect pregnancy in so many ways. So do you know something? If you are a woman and you are Rhesus negative and you get married to a man who is Rhesus positive, so definitely your baby is going to be Rhesus positive. And there is going to be a problem. With your first pregnancy, as you being Rhesus negative as a woman and your baby being Rhesus positive. So since a Rhesus negative mother is carrying a Rhesus positive baby, the mother's body is going to see the baby as a threat. So in response to that, the mother's immune system is going to produce antibodies against the baby. So these antibodies can cross the placenta and go and attack the fetal cells. And this can cause the death of the baby. I want you to note something here. Science has been able to prove that with your first pregnancy, since the mother has not been pregnant with a Rhesus positive baby before, the first pregnancy is going to go smoothly. But with the subsequent pregnancies, because the mother has already carried a Rhesus positive baby before, it means the mother already has antibodies against a Rhesus positive baby. So with the first pregnancy, as I said, it's going to be smooth, but with the subsequent pregnancy, the already built antibodies are going to attack the fetal cells. But do you know that if a Rhesus positive mother is carrying a Rhesus negative baby, the mother and baby are not going to have any problems or issues? That is science for you. So the only problem is when a Rhesus negative mother is carrying a Rhesus positive baby or fetus. And with the first pregnancy, you are not going to have any issues. But with the subsequent pregnancy, due to the built up antibodies being made by the mother, with the subsequent pregnancies, the antibodies is going to attack the fetal cells. So as a woman who is getting pregnant for the first time, and who is rhesus negative and is carrying a rhesus positive baby, we have a vaccine called the anti-D or the rhesus immune globulin, which we administer within 72 hours after birth. Yeah, so this is going to protect your subsequent pregnancies. Otherwise, you're going to have recurrent abortions. Yeah, not recurrent abortions only. Hemolytic disease of the newborn, like jaundice, anemia, and all those kind of conditions. Yeah, so with the vaccine, if it's been administered within 72 hours after birth, it's going to protect your subsequent pregnancies. Yeah. And do you know something? I don't know why some people will come or some women will come to the facility and you ask them, have you been pregnant before? Then they tend to lie. Sister, you are lying. Hey, don't lie you. You know every information that is going to occur within the midwife and you, the client, is going to be confidential. If you want us to tell your partner, fine. But if you don't want us to tell him, it's going to be confidential. We are not going to leak any information. Do you know why I'm saying this? Because if you don't let us know that you've had maybe an induced abortion, whether being induced or spontaneous. When I say spontaneous, it means it came by itself. Yeah, and with the induced, it means you went to the pharmacy to buy some drugs. You bought some abortion drugs. Yeah. And you took it and the baby came, like you induced that, but you induced it. Yeah, sorry. So if you let us know, because for all you know, so maybe before you met your husband, you've had series of miscarriages with maybe someone, or let me say abortions being spontaneous or induced, and maybe you, the woman, you are rhesus negative. And for all you know, the man that you were with previously was rhesus positive. It means so you've carried a rhesus positive baby before. So if you don't let us know, your subsequent pregnancy is going to be something else. You're going to have problems. That's why we ask those questions. Yeah, we want to be sure that you've not had any miscarriages or abortions. We want to know that maybe you've not carried a rhesus positive baby as you being a rhesus negative mother. You want to know so that you will intervene faster to prevent any further problems. If you are a rhesus positive mother carrying a rhesus negative baby, there's not going to be any issues or problems. Yeah, a rhesus positive mother can carry a rhesus positive baby with no issues. A rhesus negative mother can carry a rhesus negative baby with no issues. The only issue is when a rhesus negative mother carries a rhesus positive baby. Yeah, that's where the issues comes in. So I'm not saying that if you're a rhesus negative woman, you can't get married to a rhesus positive man. You can, but just know that if you get pregnant, there are some vaccines and all those kind of things that you have to take to protect your baby and let me say your subsequent pregnancies. Yeah, it's no big deal. That is why I have decided to be your guide. That's the guided midwife. So lovely viewers, this comes to an end to today's episode on the Guided Midwife channel. I know you've gained more insight in Rhesus Factor. So please, if you find my videos very educative and interesting, then please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm on your wave right now.